this week, something that we hope to add weekly. I don't know where my trusty sidekick is, my buddy Jasmine. I hope she's on her way. If not, I know she's I deal with some busy people, man. So sometimes we can get on the same page and sometimes we can't, but I do understand it's all love. And these guys they come on the show for a reason. They are entrepreneurs who are actively operating their businesses. So of course things don't line up, but as my man Coop would say, it's your show at the end of the day, and you got to make sure that the show goes on. So we're going to make sure the show goes on. I'm going to let this J Dilla bang in your ear just for a second, and come right back to you. Go ahead, man. Give him some more. You said go into my settings.
It's live now. I'm just saying, like, tomorrow whenever you get some free time. It's public now. Okay. But to make it permanently public, I'll explain after the show.
Everybody, is this thing on? What song is that? Yes, indeedy. We're back one more again. It's another sunny Saturday. I was about to say South Dallas, but we're downtown. We're downtown Dallas, 211 North Irvay. Come check us out. Elevated Relief Factory. Shout out to Jody. Shout out to what's the name of that juice place downstairs, Jedi? I Am the Juice.
Yeah, I Am Juice.
I Am Juice.
I Am the Juice. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I Am Juice or something. Yeah.
Shout out to whoever that is downstairs for my super coffee. They did a great job. She wasn't lying. It is a good pick me up.
Yeah, I've had one of those. It is good.
The one with all of the superfoods in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, man. It's not strong. It doesn't have like it's not really bitter, but it tastes really good.
Hey, I tell you, if you like coffee, and it's right across from them, Cafe Izmir.
Okay.
They have Turkish coffee, and I probably go there once a week and have it because it is just delicious. They serve in these little bitty cups, and you're like, man, come on now, what is this? But it's like, it's good. It's potent. It's all you need is one of them little bitty cups.
Yeah, man, because that Turkish coffee is strong as I don't know what, bro.
Yeah, it's good.
You won't go to sleep. Yeah, that's definitely what you need if you're burning a candle at both ends like I've been for the last few days. We're just going to go ahead and get into this. You can just let that music run. I like that. I like that groove, Jedi. So what we're going to talk about, as always, what I wanted to open up the show, I used to open up with a letter, and I said this a couple episodes ago, and I need to get back to that, almost like an editorial at the beginning of the show, but it was just to kind of set the stage for what we were about to talk about, and it's my opening thoughts. And so I wanted to revisit something from episode 1, and I was about maybe 3 days from catching, probably 3 weeks. This dude is so busy because I was trying to get KG back up here today. Shout out to KG. Shout out to CP Local Celebrity.
KG the Great?
KG the Great. Yeah, cosign. Yeah, Cosign Magazine. Shout out to KG. Shout out to Chris P. Their whole staff, man, they're doing some big things. I was trying to get KG back up here because that dude is, I consider him a marketing extraordinaire.
How long has he been with Cosign?
KG?
Yeah.
KG owns Cosign,
bro.
bro.
Oh, really? Man,
yeah.
I must be thinking of somebody else, then.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. You would know Cosign, KG.
Yeah.
Cosign Kicks, all of that.
Shorter dude, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I know you're talking about now.
Yeah. KG goes hard, man. Shout out to those dudes for always giving a brother support. While I'm at it, you know what, man? We're just going to do roll call just a little bit. I want to say, and then I'll get into my opening thoughts. I want to give a big shout out to Cosign Magazine, of course. I said that. Another shout out to 5 Made Men and my little big sis, Nina Itaraldi. You can see her you can find her on IG or Facebook. She's always doing First Lady of Cosign. I mean, First Lady of 5 Made Men. Sorry about that, guys. Also, shout out to who else did I have on the show? Lena P. Lena P is an R&B artist in the city. Lovely, beautiful, gorgeous lady. Great. Just a beautiful smile and also great attitude, man. Personality, a lot of good energy to be around, and I just appreciate her. Always been that way since I've known her, and we go back. I'm not gonna say how long. That ain't none of your business. I'm not dating myself anymore. Also, who else? Sam Jack. Ice Lounge. I think they're opening. Ice Lounge is opening. It's the Old Azure. Ice Lounge is opening today in Addison. Well, not necessarily opening today, but they got the big Juneteenth, one of the Juneteenth celebrations going on this weekend. You need to check them out. Go hit them up. If I don't remember the web address for the Ice Lounge, but you can always find Sam Jack at MrImpressENT.com, or you can find him on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook as Mr. Impress. And I'm pretty sure he'll point you in the right direction. Also, shout out to my man's Matt Wright, man. Matt's a young cat, producer. Seems like he's about to be a producer extraordinaire. He was our first engineer over at the other spot that we started at, and just want to shout out to him, man. He's doing big things. I see you, Matt, flying in and out to Cali and everything. So I see you, buddy. You're getting your grind on. And then just shout out to Kate. Well, I said that. Shout out to all the ladies that I had on the Femtrepreneur episode. Rare Essentials. You can catch up with Ebony, Elijah, and Kendra at Rare Essentials. Rare_Essentials on Instagram. I don't know if they have a Facebook page. Ladies, I'm sorry. Hit me up if you have a Facebook page. Shoot me that link. Post it in the Get Back Show's Facebook page link, Facebook page. Yeah, I'm trying to get together today, and let us know where else we can find you at, ladies. I follow them on Instagram all the time, and you can follow Ebony. I think it's Elijah94. I don't know if she want all y'all folks following her. Elijah94, and then Kendra is So Kenny, Kennie at the end. So Kenny. Who else did we have on the Femtrepreneur episode? We had Delisa Rose, who's actually been down here a couple times. I don't know when the last time she's been back. What's up, D? When you coming to get down again? Jedi said you've been tripping.
Where you at? We miss you.
And you can find her at Ask Delisa Rose, or you can just go hit her website at delisarose.com if you or anybody you know that's looking for a home. But more than that, Delisa she's a mentor. She's a staple in the real estate community. Man, she does some really good things, some great things. She's good people. And shout out to Tony. What's up, T? Those finals were short enough for you, bro. You got a chance to get back home. I know you were trying to get back to the fam. That's Delisa's husband. Excuse me, guys. Who else did we have on the episode? We had my girl, my ace, my player partner, Mrs. Akil McLean in Coco Labs. She was on. Shout out to Z. Thank you for finally following me back, Z. I appreciate that. Who else did we have on that episode? We had Siani Love, that's one of the best artists that you guys have, sadly to say, never heard of. If you've been out to the shows, then you've seen her. If you've been to a live performance, then you know Siani can get down. Waiting for her to drop some music and bless us with that. But if not, just follow her on her page. She be wilding a little bit. Love her spirit, her energy. She's fierce. Love that about her. And aside from that, the fact that she's a phenomenal artist, she's a great soul. So just make sure you check her out. You can find her at Siani Love. Then who else we have? We had Nikki Jackson, who is on the Benet Embry show. Nikki's my girl. Love just
Nikki.
I do too.
She's awesome.
I do too. I love you, Nikki. No, Nikki's good people, man. Don't ask her a question you don't want the answer to. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Ain't that the truth?
Yes, she will keep it 100 with you. Very authentic, inside and out. So thank you. Also, who else we had? I'm trying to run through the people we had. I think I'm missing somebody. Nikki Z. I'm missing somebody, man. And my feelings gonna be hurt when I remember who it is. I'm definitely missing somebody, bro. If I'm missing you, I'm sorry. I'll get back to you. I'll make it up to you. And who else? Episode 4, we had Unique Honeycutt, owns an insurance business. We had Arthur Wimberly, AW the mortgage guy. You can find him if you know somebody that's looking for a home and you want to get pre-approved. He works with some great real estate professionals himself, so they can get you approved for a loan, see how much house you can afford, and then link you up with a real estate agent to go find that house. Shout out to Jet Timmons. You can find him at jettimmons.com. Same thing. Jet's he's a loan broker. He's a broker on the mortgage, on the origination side. Holler at him. Jet, he says he's the financial physician. I think that's what he named himself. He deemed himself the financial physician. But if you follow Jet and you keep up with some of his stories and testimonials, you'll see why he calls himself the financial physician. That is a name that's he's worthy of, man. He does some good work for people, and he really looks out for them. Jet's he's a loan broker. Yeah, like I'm hearing my playback. Guess what?
Sorry, I was just making sure everything was streaming on your Facebook and your YouTube.
No, you good.
Which, by the way, what is your YouTube? In case people are watching on your Facebook, where can they find you on YouTube?
The Get Back Show.
There you go.
Everything is The Get Back Show. You'll always be able to find us at The Get Back Show. And while we're talking about that, shout out to Jessica Figueroa. Jessica, I might have just butchered your name, but she does rhythm and rhymes, which we'll do a promo about that a little bit later, man. But she's good people. She's got a couple things coming up over the next few months, so stand by on that. Big Shep, my man DeMarcus Shepard, I appreciate you, dog. I see you out there, good old country boy. I'm just shouting out to people, man. I used to do something like a little roll call, just trying to get warmed up a little bit. It's been a long week. Actually trying to wake up a little bit. But I tell you what, now that I've said hello to almost everybody that I know, you know what, before I get into it, it is Father's Day weekend. And I just want to say what's up to my pops, Joe Green, the man who raised me. And I want to say what's up to Marvin Crenshaw, the man who made me. Love both of those guys. Learned a lot from both of them. And man, happy Father's Day. I'm glad that you guys both of you are still around for me to talk to and just, share life a little bit with, and even for my children. Shout out to my kids. What's up, Brendan? What's going on, Gracie? What's up, Birdie? Well, Shira. I don't tell nobody. Well, they know your nickname now. What's going on? Shira's about to be a senior. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle that. That was my studio buddy. When she was about 2-3 years old, she rode with me everywhere, to every studio I went to. Shout out to my oldest, man, Shekinah. She's 19, girl about to be 20 years old. Phew. I'm getting old, bruh. And just shout out to all my kinfolk out there, everybody across the country that's a Molo, Green, Hector, whoever else is tied to our family line, man. Shout out to all of y'all, all the brothers I know out there. Herbert, Herb, you up in San Antonio, my oldest brother. Happy Father's Day, Molo. Happy Father's Day, homie. Shout out to my younger brother, Patrick. Y'all just like, I'm just watching this dude do roll call. But we're going to get into it, man. Shout out to my cousin Greg out in Frisco. And what up, Caleb? Caleb's going to be the next baseball phenom, man. Watch what I tell you. We're going to get these good camera angles here. So what I wanted to get into is my opening thoughts since I've run through the family tree and everything. And I wanted to revisit Beyond the Edge, which if you haven't heard Beyond the Edge, it's nothing but just some of my thoughts that I opened with episode 1 with the Cosign edition. So if you'd like to hear that, you can check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. We're there waiting for you to listen, download, and share. So just go check out episode 1, the Cosign edition. Episode 2, we own the night. I had some of the promoters I know across the city in here, and we just talked. We chopped it up. We talked about business and entrepreneurship. Episode 3 was a Femtrepreneur episode. We did that during, I think that was International Women's Month, and just to celebrate women and the female entrepreneurs that I knew around the city that were really just out there doing their thing. And I know several other ones, but these ladies were they made themselves accessible during this time, and really just, man, that's probably one of the best shows I had that I've had up to date. Out of the 6, we're on number 6 right now. So out of the 5, that's in the top 2 for me. But just so what we talked about in Beyond the Edge. What I talked about in Beyond the Edge was just, it was comical, because I talked about how, when you're standing at the edge and you feel the ground beneath you slipping under your toes, that it's no longer there. You get this queasiness, you clench your butt cheeks, all of that stuff when you're essentially, the crap is getting scared out of you. You're getting nervous. And you can't tell the difference between sharding and actually farting. Yeah, whatever. That was the comical part of it. But the point that I was making about Beyond the Edge is the greatest thing that we deal with in all of this in life. One of the biggest things that we deal with is overcoming fear in our life. But that really plays a big part of it. And I want to encourage everybody out there that's dealing with overcoming fear. Whether it be you were in a relationship and you want to get back out there dating. I don't know why that came to me first, because we're talking about business, but whatever. Whether it's a business that you wanted to start, a new adventure, man, school, anything like that, where you have that apprehension and that little bit of fear, and you haven't made that step beyond the edge because you're letting that fear is holding you back. I want to encourage you guys, go ahead and step out there. You're already an innovative person. You're already an overcomer. You've already in your life, if you've made it this far in your life, you've already expressed your ability and shown your ability to be fearless. 2 of the most innovative moments in your life: learning how to walk and learning how to ride a bike. Think about that. As a kid, the only fear it was falling. And then once you started cruising, as they say, and holding on to stuff, and you take your first couple steps, and you may fall. But once you hit that ground, and as long as you don't bust your head, some of us did bust our head. That might be why we have a little brain damage as we acted crazy. But you got back up, and you kept trying to walk. And you kept trying to walk until you were able to take that first step, then the second step, and then the third. And then you went from walking to running. You overcame fear. You overcame something that you couldn't do. You were able to accomplish something that you couldn't do at first, but because you were relentless and you wanted to walk. And think about this, your parents would cheer you on, your family, everybody would cheer you on when you were taking those first couple steps. Guess what? You have people that are in your support system, that are in your family, that are on the sidelines, that follow you on social media, that are daily cheering you on. So I'm telling you, don't stop. Don't stop. Be fearless. Be cautious. Remember how cautious, not cautious, but be curious. I'm sorry. Be fearless and be curious. Remember how curious you were when you were a kid. We got to get back to that sometimes. And be unafraid to go out and try new things. And that's it. You got to overcome your fear. So if you want to go starting a new business and jumping right into it, starting a new business is akin to learning how to walk and riding a bike all over again. You have your first couple. Actually, let me quit lying to you. It's like jumping off a cliff. That's what it's like. It's learning how to walk and riding a bike. You have a little safety net. Jumping off a cliff, either you're gonna learn how to fly or you got a parachute or it's over for you. But it's that feeling, the free fall feeling. And one of the things is, hey man, first of all, learn how to fly. Focus on learning how to fly. So I just want to encourage you guys, and I know I'm probably all over the place right now. I got a million thoughts running through my head just about this. Whenever I start talking about this, I get a little bit excited and I get to going from place to place. But I just want to encourage you all to be fearless and be agents of curiosity. Be curious about what you're able to accomplish. You never know until you try. And that's the biggest thing, man. I tell my kids all the time, I don't expect perfection out of you. What I expect is effort. I expect for you to try. And I want you to walk away. If you don't walk away with anything but this from all the stuff I've said and rambled on about is try. Have the expectation of effort with yourself. Effort in believing in yourself, believing in other people, believing in treating people the way that you want to be treated. That takes effort, because some days you don't want to exercise compassion. Some days you don't want to mind your words. Some days you don't want to be thankful for who people are in your life and not what they're able to give you. Some days you find yourself where you don't want to learn anything new. And some days you find yourself where you don't want to take the time to love on somebody because you feel like you haven't been loved on, or you're just not feeling it. But to do all those things takes effort. And the effort that it takes, the return on that investment of effort in your life and in other people's lives around you is immeasurable. So if you walk away with anything today from what I said in this little rant, is give effort. Have some effort. Have the expectation of effort, not just of other people, but of yourself first. That's just been Beyond the Edge Revisited. It was a bit of a ramble, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back and get into some more things.
Brushes against his, smooth on stubble for a moment, and then it's gone. He walks along the platform as if in a dream. Every fibre in me wants to shout and scream, stop, to run across to him and take him in my arms, to tell him I love you, you silly, silly man, I love you. But instead I stand still, heart cracking. Those little curls on the back of his head bouncing as he steps out of my life. Whatever.
that the fire we both made still burns a little in you. I wrote to you every day. Did my letters find their way? Our memories on my screen, two lovers in this mystic dream. Baby, come back to me. Come back to me. Too much time on my phone. Baby, do you still sleep alone? Come back to me. Come back to me. Remember me. Fresh out of black and white. Movie. On every screen. Would you realize what you meant to me? Or was it mystery? Remember me. Fresh out of black and white. Movie. On every screen.
If you don't have anything to do on the first and third Thursday of every month, you should come out to Cloud 9 Hookah Lounge in Richardson and check out Rhythm and Rhymes. I'm hosting. We have some spoken word. It's an open mic, you know. We keep an open stage and a hot mic. And it's a very nice feel. It's a very nice feel out there. They take care of the place. They take care of the people that are in there. Rhythm and Rhymes is put on by JCF Productions, LLC. She's got a couple other things going on, but you can also find that out if you come out to Rhythm and Rhymes. So go ahead, get up off of your couch and come sit down on ours. Every other Thursday, every first and third Thursday at Cloud 9 Hookah Lounge, Rhythm and Rhymes.
It kills me to see you leave. So I came home and made this beat. Baby, come back to me. Come back to me. Remember me. Fresh out of black and white. Movie. On every screen. Would you realize what you meant to me? Was it mystery? Remember me. Fresh out of black and white. Movie. On every screen. Would you realize what you meant to me? Or was it mystery? Remember me, let's set the scene. You and me, what could have been. Still swimming in old lovers' dreams. Still playing on new movie screens. Remember me, let's set the scene. You and me, what could have been. Still swimming in old lovers' dreams. Still playing on new movie screens. Remember me, let's set the scene. You and me, what could have been. Still swimming in old lovers' dreams. Still playing on new movie screens. Remember me, let's set the scene. You and me, what could have been. Still swimming in old lovers' dreams. Still playing on new movie screens.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tom Misch That was Tom Misch with Movie. That's my jam. Man, I'm gonna tell you what. One of my favorite places to get coffee is where I heard that song at, and ever since then I've been hooked. So, what we got coming up next, I want to shout out to Adrian Nina. She's in West Hollywood, California, I believe. And Adrian, I've been following her for almost a year now. Adrian is, she's the truth, bro, when it comes to fitness and just being innovative and progressive. She's really the truth. I like her movement. I like where she's headed with it. And she seems like a very sweet soul, authentic soul. And that's really one of the things that I look for with people I want to connect with, is because I always talk about authenticity. That's one of the most important things that we can have when we learn what that really means. So what I did was I reached out to Adrian because I'm trying to get fit myself. I'm back in the gym. I think everybody around me that I'm close to, we're trying to prolong our lives, and your health is your wealth is your health, or your health is your wealth. Let me get my life together. Your health is your wealth. So, you got to invest in that first. We talked about last week investing in yourself. One of the things that involved in investing in yourself is making sure you're healthy. So anyway, Adrian is doing some things. She's doing some big things. And once we get through this next little segment, we'll talk about her website just a little bit. If you want to go check it out in a minute after the video, you can check it out at welltrained.com. But what we have up is a new segment called Fit 5 that Adrian blessed us with, where she's going to take you guys through some exercises. I felt like, hey, we're at home. It's hot in Texas, and it's summertime. And, it may be a little too late to get to the beach body, but never too late. You can always work on that, having yourself together for the fall. And for me, it's birthday time coming, so you want to look good around birthday time. At least I do. So Adrian put together the Fit 5 segment, and why don't you guys take a look?
Today's segment of the Get Back show. So first off, I want to start off with the importance of breathing. Something that we do just second nature, don't think about it, and oftentimes we're not breathing properly because of that. So I want you to all take a moment and just stand or sit wherever you feel comfortable. I want you to inhale through your nose for as long as possible, then slowly exhale through your mouth. So it's going to look like this. So something you may have noticed is that there's very little rising in my chest. That might be difficult for some of you to do, so if that's not possible, we're going to take it down to the mat where you can lay down, and we're going to activate more of your diaphragm. I'm really trying to get the belly to rise. That's where the diaphragm is located, right above it. So you want to see rising there where you're inhaling and lowering as you exhale. Let's do that one more time. So the more that you practice breathing in that type of format, it'll become easier. You'll be able to do it sitting up, and then you'll be able to easily do it standing up, and it'll just help improve your health overall and your physical fitness. So to get started, let's go ahead and do a little quick stretch. I want you to pick a space in your room, wherever you are in a park. Set your feet hip width apart. We're going to just reach for our toes and get a nice stretch in the back of our hamstrings. Some of you might go into this slow. If you can't, just go as far as you can without grounding too much into your back. Now we're going to put our hands down, bending our legs, step back, put one leg, keep it straight. We're going to feel a nice long stretch here, looking straight ahead. Now take the arm of the leg that's on the furthest one up, reach up for the ceiling, and look at your palm. That should intensify your stretch even more. Back. Let's take that foot that's forward, bring it back and switch out with the one that was back. Really continue with that same type of breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. We'll reach up for the ceiling and look at our palm. And if you can't get this deep into the stretch, don't worry. The more you practice it, the better it will be. Let's take that foot back. And we're going to walk our feet to our hands. We'll hang here for a second, and then we'll bend our knees and slightly roll up one vertebrae at a time. All right, so I have a 5-exercise sequence that we'll be going through today. First, we're going to go back into that standing hip width apart. You're going to reach for your toes, or reach for the ground with a squat, and come up and then reach for the ceiling. So that's going to look like this. Touch the floor, up, touch, reach for the ceiling. Up, reach for the ceiling, floor, and then ceiling. We're going to do this for about 60 seconds. Continuing breathing. If you can't get that low, don't worry. Go to where you can stop, where you stay in form and you're not losing your balance. So after you've done that about 60 times, we are going to go back to the mat and do a plank. So you're going to have your plank, you're going to start with your hands shoulder width apart. We don't want to get too wide, we want to be about fist distance with our hands on the floor. Once you set your shoulders over your wrists, step back one foot at a time. And you're going to keep your gaze right in front of your fingertips. Now, if you need to, you can separate your feet. That's going to give you more stability in this position. And if you find it difficult to hold this for 60 seconds, what I want you to do is walk your hands back, come all the way up for a break, and then immediately go back down to your plank. All while focusing on your breath. Now we're going to take a lie down on our mat and we're going to have our legs to the ceiling, straight up. So from here we're going to do slow leg lowering. So you won't get your legs all the way to the floor, but you're going to keep control of them with your abdominals and using your hands to give you support by pressing to the floor. So you're going to inhale. As you exhale, slowly lower your legs to where you have control over it. If that's as far as you can go, that's as far as you go. And then you come right back in with the inhale. Exhale them out. You should find lots of shakiness and contracting happening in your stomach area right now. And you may only be able to get right here, and this is a lot for you, but that's fine. We're going to do that just for 60 seconds. All right. Then we're going to take a nice wide stance, and then we're going to lunge to one side, touch the floor with the opposite hand. So that's going to look like this. Lunging, getting the hips back, touch by the floor by your foot, then come back to center. We'll do the same side for 30 seconds. And then you're going to switch over to the other side for the next 30 seconds. you want to take some of the pressure off your wrists, go to like a bench or chair or a sofa, and you can set up your plank position for mountain climbers there. So again, shoulder depart with your hands, and then we're just going to tuck one knee in and point that toe. You can go slow, or you can also go fast. So with the mountain climbers, I suggest playing with the tempo. Try to go for the entire 60 seconds, but go fast or slow as you need to maintain for that entire 60 seconds. So with those 5 exercises, you can repeat that about 3 or 4 sets, and if you're feeling really good, go ahead and do 5 sets. And if that's not challenging with just the body weight, you can get free weights. You can use water bottles, canned food, anything that's heavy or has some weight to it that you have around the home. You can do that, or you can even visit your home local gym. I hope you enjoyed it. You all can find me on Instagram at welltrainedbody, on my website, which is welltrainedbody.com as well. Thanks.
All right then. That was Adrian Nina with Fit 5. That was nice. I like that. I'm gonna try some of that stuff out. I don't know.
I did too, by the way. That was real nice. I liked it as well. It was a good video.
Adrian, you are a beast, man. I mean, good Lord. I wish I could be that flexible, yo. Like, I mean, and you could tell that she's really fit, and she's muscular. And most time people are, I don't know. I guess, well, most guys, we're really stiff. Like when we get muscular and cut up and stuff like that. But Adrian, great job. I appreciated that. Yeah. So if you guys want to check out the website, sorry, my battery just died on my laptop. If you guys want to check out the website, go to welltrained.com, and she has a couple links on there where you can if you're in the California area, you can get some face-to-face time training. But I'm pretty sure, I do believe that Adrian can, if you have any questions for her, if you're not in the California or the Hollywood area, you can reach out to Adrian at welltrainedbody@gmail.com, or just go hit her up and contact her on the website on the contact tab. I may have given you the wrong email address because I don't have my laptop screen up in front of me. But definitely go check her out. Tell her that you want to see more of that stuff, because we do. I really like that, and it's a plus. You know, it's good. Parents out there, really, what I did this for is because I just want to challenge everybody right now. If you have kids that show some ambition and want to do anything, don't hold them back. Challenge them to start their own business. Talk to them about entrepreneurship. You guys learn about it yourself. And the reason that I'm saying that is that's one of the points of doing this video, is that we have to be in shape. You don't have to be ready to go run a marathon, but the life that we lead, our lives are busy, even with our kids, and they're doing different activities and stuff like that. It's a great time to sit down as a family or get together as a family and do some exercises and work out together. And it's not anything long. It gives you an opportunity to really, as a parent, to lean into your kids, to engage them in something other than dinner, or if they're in sports or school, anything like that, where they can see you guys can work through some things together. Because we all have areas that we need to work on, as far as personal and physical, our physical attributes. So I just want to encourage you to do that, and definitely reach out to Adrian. Go to welltrained.com and reach out to her. And she has some products. She has t-shirts, tanks, some nice stuff too. She has some nice merch on there. And then also the weighted vest, the well-trained vest. Check that out. I'm getting myself one. Adrian, I'm going to just hold me accountable. I'm going to get one from you. You're going to have to give me some of those extensions, though, because I ain't had a 32 waist since I was about 16 years old. So I definitely want to invest, help invest in my own health, but also invest in your success as well, Adrian. Thank you very much, sweetheart. I appreciate that. I hope everything's going well for you out there in California. You guys go check her out on Instagram at Well Trained Body, and hit her up. Tell her you like what you saw today, and you want to know how to learn more. And just stay in touch with her. Follow her. She has this thing called Animal Flow. I'm talking about super dope. Like, you're gonna have to be strong to do that, but it's you there when you're able to do some of those exercises. So go check her out.
Did she train one of the chicks from X-Men?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah,
yes.
she's got a picture of her on her Instagram.
Yes, she does. Hey man, she knows some people. That is a testament to her ability, and also just her professionalism. That people are reaching out to her and they want to do business with her. They see results. When you're in that business, you're a walking billboard, and she's a walking billboard. People can't say that she doesn't. They can't see gains. She's a walking billboard. Did you give me a little side-high whoop-de-doo? Did I miss that part?
What?
The side-high whoop-de-doo?
What do you mean?
Whoop-de-doo.
Oh, the song?
Yeah.
No, we hadn't played it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what. I'm going to grab my charger. You guys take a look at Thanksgiving Square. Bump a little of this side-high to Prince whoop-de-doo.
Jello Beats, holla at me.
Back. And we're back. Jungle Beats, holler at me. Hey, first and foremost, everybody, I just want to take a moment, man. This has kind of been a I'm as transparent as possible. It's kind of been a really, this is not where we're supposed to be in the show, but you know, we kind of, as they would say, we had to throw away the rundown. And it's Jedi. Jedi's my co-host today. And the
What's up, man?
And the engineer. You know what, Jedi? That's what I should have done at the beginning of the show. This is what we're going to do. I don't know if he has a camera on himself.
Nah, you know what? I don't really like to be on camera.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, how about this, Jedi? I'm about to interview you, man.
Okay.
All right. So, do you normally tell people your government name?
Yeah, Jansen.
Jansen.
Ray.
His name is Jansen. I have to remember that sometimes because I've been calling him Jedi since I met him. When I call him and I'm around other people, they think I'm crazy because I'm like Jedi. They're like, who's he talking to?
Yeah, that's what everyone calls me, Jedi Jansen. That was my old radio name.
So how did you get the name Jedi?
So I was working for the Jagger Show on 105.3, and do you remember when Star Wars, The Clone Wars, the animated movie came out in theaters?
Yeah.
So we had a big deal where we were set up there at a screening, and a fan of the show had made me. I was gonna do an appearance there, so a fan had made me a Jedi robe. And brought it to me, and I had bought one of those lightsabers, and so I was like in Jedi garb at this appearance, and then the next day I brought it up to the studio to talk about it, and I wore the robe all day, and I was running back and forth doing stuff, and Jagger kept going, "Oh my God, he's still wearing his robe, Jedi Jansen over here," and he started calling me that. Well, it literally just it stuck like real, like it took off like big time, and so much so where at one point 105.3 flipped formats, and we were the Talk That Rocks. We were alternative talk, but then we flipped to sports, which is right now it's 105.3 The Fan.
Fans, yeah.
Well, they kept us on for about a year on a sports station, which really didn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, so we're the only show that they did keep on in a whole new cast. So after like a year of being there, no one even knew my real name. Like everyone just was calling me Jedi.
Jedi.
So it's how it happened.
That's crazy, man. That's cool though. So is that what you get stopped by? Is that what everybody calls you by now?
I mean, it varies, you know. So yeah.
I got you. So when did you get into radio? How did that happen?
Well, that's a crazy story. So 11 years ago, I was about to go into the Army. I was kind of at a dead end in life. I didn't really know what to do, and I moved here from Atlanta to get away from drugs, and I needed like 10 more college credit hours to qualify for this particular position that I wanted in the Army, which was Cavalry Scout. And so I moved here. My granddad was dying of Lou Gehrig's disease. So I moved here and started helping him out on his last end of his life, and started going to community college here to get my credit hours. Well, I started listening to the Jagger Show, and I started sending him ideas. This was back when MySpace was big, and so I hit up the show and would always send them show ideas and go to their appearances and would call in a lot. So I did this for about 2 years while I was going to college, and finished school, went and did my ASVAB physical, did everything other than my swear of oath. I had to do that like 3 days later because I had to come down here to downtown Dallas to do it. And so I had sent Jagger one last message saying, "Hey, this is my last message. I'm going into the Army, but here's my ideas." And I had worked on like for hours all kinds of show ideas. And his only response was, quote, and excuse my language, "Fuck the Army, come be our new intern." Well, you don't just be an intern for CBS Radio. You have to actually be in broadcast journalism. And at the time, I had already wrapped up in school. I didn't have no money for tuition. It was only like 3 weeks left before the deadline to where I could even sign up. And so I was working at Steak and Ale in Mesquite. And I started like sharking shifts. I pawned my guitar. I pawned my PlayStation. I pawned everything. And within a 3-day deadline, was able to raise the money for tuition in a book for broadcast journalism at Richland College.
Wow.
So I started as an intern for 6 months, and I knew this is my only chance. I got to make the best of it. And so I did, man. I went in every morning as a character and just, you know, did what I could to make sure that they hired me after my internship was up. And sure enough, they did. And then 2 years after that, I was producer of the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, you can't tell me that wasn't like destiny.
Yeah, it was crazy. It
That
really
was
was.
destiny.
It was nuts.
So you're from Atlanta. You're born and raised in Atlanta, or born here?
I'd only lived in Atlanta for a couple of years. I moved from Atlanta I've moved around a lot my entire life. I've lived in Memphis, Atlanta, Tallahassee, Florida, Marco Island, Florida, Naples, Florida, Tyler, Texas, Dallas, Mesquite, New Jersey, Bedminster, New Jersey. Did some time in Colorado. I mean, I've moved around a lot. Not time like as in prison, like just worked out there. Have been to jail a lot of times too, though. That was
okay.
Juvenile stuff.
So what made you, so I guess once you were on the Jagger show, you kind of had the bug. Not kind of, you had the bug at that point. You had already been bitten.
I've always been a quote-unquote radio head. I grew up listening to Howard Stern. So I just told you I moved around a lot. Mm-hmm. I never went to the same school twice.
Wow.
But the only thing that was familiar with every city that I moved to was Howard Stern. He was on in every city that I moved to. And so this was back before iPods, but I had this little mini radio that was about as big as an iPod. Mm-hmm. And I would keep it in my pocket, and I ran the speakers up. I would wear a long sleeve shirt even in the summer so I could have the speakers go through my long sleeve, and I would cup my hand like this and sit at school and just listen to talk radio all day long.
Oh, yeah?
All day long. And that was like, especially Howard. But I would just continue like flip channels and just talk radio. It's just been a passion of mine. And so yeah, just being able to befriend Jagger and have him actually do a lot of my ideas.
That had to blow you away.
It was
right
cool.
There.
I was like, wow, that's my friend on the radio. And you know, even then there was still a gap of I want to be on that, but there's no way I can. Like, nah, I couldn't do that. There's no way. I'm about to go into the Army, and you know. It is possible.
It is possible.
Which is why I started this.
And that goes back to what we talked about, like dealing with that fear. Hey, shout out to Pastor Trey Graham at First Melissa Baptist Church out there. I go way back with that guy. He's always been a good dude, and we knew you were going to be, do big things, buddy. And that you are. I have not caught you doing the commentations of doing your commentary for the football games, but I'm gonna have to tune in this coming football season. I know it's something to behold, just hearing you come over the air like that. So shout out to him. Sarah said she's almost here. That's a good thing. I can stop drowning in a minute. No. So that goes back to what we talked about in the beginning. You just did it, man. Were you fearful? Like, were you afraid of rejection or you just like you didn't care?
No, because, I figured if after 6 months it didn't work out, the government always needs bodies, so that wasn't going anywhere. So I just was like, I'm just gonna give it, my all. I mean, was I afraid? Yeah, I remember first day there, like that first that first night, I didn't even sleep. Like,
You
I
were
literally
excited.
just laid in bed and just pictured how it would all go, pictured how I would be. And I was completely wrong, but, you know, it was wild. You know, it was definitely. So, and here, the crazy thing is, so I told you that Howard Stern was on in every city, right?
Yeah.
Well, the year I moved to, the asshole went to Sirius, so he left. He left Dallas. He was no longer on terrestrial radio. So the Jagger Show was the show that replaced Howard. And so I was listening to it one day. I remember their first day on air, and I was like, yeah, this ain't Howard, but I'll give it a shot. Because I was like, strict. If it ain't Howard, I don't even want to listen to it. That's how loyal I was to Howard Stern.
Wow.
So I started listening day one. I was like, wow, this is a good show. And became a fan almost immediately.
What made you a fan of the Jagger Show?
They were real. They were like, a lot of these radio shows that you listen to, man, it's so fake. So fake. It's unbelievable.
Like reality radio?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, even like, are you familiar with, I don't really want to start naming names, but are you familiar with the Russ Martin Show?
Yeah.
Okay, so we were on the same channel. And this was like my first day there. Even though I knew the Jagger Show was real, at that time I didn't realize how real they actually were, right? But when I get there, I noticed that the Russ Martin Show has like how you have your show rundown, right? What their callers, what they're gonna call in and talk about. And what Russ's argument is going to be.
So it was nothing organic.
It was all scripted. And I was like, whoa, right? And that really blew my mind. And then we had and Russ Martin, he was kind of an asshole. He's notorious for being an asshole to everyone that worked, even his people on his show, right? So he was one of the top dudes there. So when he was in the studio, no one was allowed to talk. Like in the building. When these red lights were going, no one was allowed to talk. Like it was really ridiculous. But anyway, I never really had much interaction because we were on in the mornings, he was on in the afternoon. So the first time I ever met the guy was at a Christmas party, and we were at like Main Event or something doing bowling. And he walked up, and they were wanting to start doing this fake prank war crap with us. And so he walked up and was wanting to introduce himself, or we started talking, right? His voice, bro, I'm not even exaggerating. He sounded like Mickey Mouse. Hey, we're gonna like it. I thought he was messing with me, and so like I stood there and looked at him for a second, and then I like started trying to talk to him, and man, sure enough, so I went up to Jagger and I was like, what's up with Russ Martin's voice? And he was like, what? And I went, it's high pitched. And he started laughing. He goes, what, that's the first time you talked to him? And I was like, yeah, he puts a filter on his microphone. Like even his voice isn't real.
Wow.
It's crazy. So anyway.
That bothers you.
Yeah. So
right?
It's just, there's, I just feel like whenever you get invested in personalities, like that was the thing about Howard. What you heard when he was saying how he felt, that was real. Like you knew how he was off air is how he was on air, right? And that's kind of how the Jagger Show was. It was like a dysfunctional family, on and off air.
Well, that authenticity is really, I guess, dysfunctional or not. I think there's times that we've all had some dysfunctional moments in our lives, even within relationships and friendships. So, but that authenticity, I'm assuming that's one of the things that really drew you to not just the Jagger Show, but as you said, to Howard Stern. Yeah. And then after that, the Jagger Show. I'm wondering, was Howard Stern was he somebody that Jagger looked up to?
No, see, Jagger's like he's on that level of Stern as well. I mean, he's been on in New York, L.A. He was host of the TV show Change of Heart. Remember that reality show?
Yeah, I remember that.
He was the host of that for like 10 years. So he's really like on his own level. Like he's been in radio just as long as Howard.
Wow.
So did he admire Howard's ratings? Of course. Like,
I mean, who wouldn't?
Kind of have to, because he literally I wouldn't say he is anymore, but at that time he was the king of all media.
Yeah, he owned stuff, man. I mean,
Man.
he owned the airwaves.
Oh, it was
He
brutal.
owned the airwaves for a minute, man. So let me ask you this. So after you left the Jagger show, you went to, is that when you started Deep Ellum on there?
No, I started it. So during the Jagger show, we started experimenting, putting in cameras in the studio. And first day, people started watching like crazy. Like we had like 3,000 people watching. And they weren't even able to hear anything. They were just only able to see. They could also, listen on the radio or whatever, but they were only able to see. And those numbers just kept growing and growing, and I was just like, wow. And so we started doing online radio. It was a completely different name. We did it out of my friend's apartment. It was called Really Bad Radio. And we were doing it and we were doing it in conjunction with the Jagger show. So we would get on and we would like carry on anything that happened on the show. We would then talk about it on Really Bad Radio. And it was like kind of like the online version of just a couple of the crew, right?
So it was like behind the scenes on
Kinda. I mean, it was only just 2 of us that were actually on the show 3 of us that did it. So anyway, so we started doing it for fun. And I realized then, and this was 10 years ago, I realized, oh, wow, man, I've actually lived in Dallas for 14 years now. That's crazy. So anyway, so this was 10 years ago, and I realized then, man, internet radio is not always going to be some dude in his basement. At the time, it still was, but I knew it wasn't always going to be. So I started riding. I would get off of work, and me and the guy who did Really Bad Radio would ride our bicycles down to Deep Ellum.
Wow.
And at the time, Deep Ellum was dead. There were like 4 businesses there, and that was it. And at the time, I was still relatively new to Dallas. And I remember riding around going, man, what the hell's wrong? This place looks amazing. Why is all this empty? And I had no idea at the time. Like, I didn't know the history behind Deep Ellum, nothing. I just knew like it was a shell of something that used to be badass. I could tell. Yeah. And then I started really like learning about Deep Ellum and the real actual history. And I'm like, wow. I was immediately drawn to that place. And we would go there every day at the time it was Taco Loco.
I remember Taco Loco.
So we would go there because we were really good friends with Tracy, the manager. She was a Jagger show listener. She brought us tacos. That's how we went there one day. So we would go there, get drunk, drink a bunch of beer, and then ride our bicycles back home. Like almost every day. It was our thing. And then I saw a little space for rent. And I'm like, I'm going to do this for real. Let's move down here, Jimmy, and I just said his name, sorry. Let's just move down here and start something. Well, he acted like he was on board for a minute and then quickly faded away. But I was like, man, I'm taking this for real. And so we started Deep Ellum on air in Deep Ellum, and this was 10 years ago.
Man, that's dope. Yeah. I remember. It's crazy to think that I've known you for a lot of that time, man.
Yeah,
almost a lot of that time.
You were in the original studio, right, on Main Street? Yeah, yeah. Where I was living in the closet. Yeah. Fuck.
You good? You can come sit down, Sarah. Hold on. I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick break, and we'll get back to interviewing Jedi and introduce our guest. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I wish you'd known how far I go. I was lost in my mind, lost in my mind. I was lost in my mind. I wish you'd seen who I could have been. I was lost in my mind, lost in my mind. I was stuck in my mind. When you go, I'm a sun in the sky. When you go, I'm a sun in the sky. When you go, I'm a sun in the sky. I miss the way we loved that day. When you were mine, when you were mine, still stuck in my mind. I miss the thrill, stays with me still, all of the time, still stuck in my mind. When you go, I'm a sun in the sky. When you go, I'm a sun in the sky. When you go, I'm a sun in the sky.
All right, and we're back, everybody. We had a guest come in. I knew she was going to be here on the second half of the show. I'm glad she had some other stuff to do today, but she blessed us with her presence, and I'm glad I got a chance to see this young lady speak on a panel. Matter of fact, with Cosign. I think it was last spring, was it? The Cosign Live experience when you guys were, I forgot what venue they were at.
What was it? Off the Record.
Yes, at OTR. Mm-hmm. Yes, that was a good little lick right there. That was a nice move. What up, AW? I see, shout out to D. Clark. So we got a loan officer and a real estate agent. Go hit both of their pages up if you guys are looking for a house. One of them will get you qualified and tell you how much house you can afford. The other one will help you find that house. So we have Sarah Badran, correct?
That's correct.
So I was writing out your title, yeah, you go pretty deep there, homegirl.
Yes, I do. I do quite a bit of things.
Yeah,
I have really long titles as well.
Do you? Well, I was just like, good. She's like 8 hands.
Feels like
you
it
stay
sometimes.
busy. You stay busy. You put in work though. People wouldn't trust you. I mean, looking at what you do, you deal with a lot of different things, a lot of moving parts. Definitely. How is that for you? That keep you busy? You keep life busy?
I've always been a multitasker. I've always been into doing so many things and balancing things. I just don't know any other way. It's just what I'm good at and how I do things. I feel weird when like there's silence or quiet or like just like I have free time. It feels weird for me.
When you're still too long?
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know how to take a break.
Wow. So when's the last time you had vacation then?
I try to make like I take a lot of work trips, so I try to like do half work, half vacation. That's kind of where I can slip it in. But I'm gonna be going to Malibu for like a weekend in July, so I'm looking forward to that, and then planning something special for my birthday in August.
That's cool. In August, you're a Leo?
I am a Leo.
Oh my God, these Leos.
You're about to say that we're really great and amazing.
You
and
are amazing.
Full of fire
people.
and personality.
Also, I have no qualms with Leos. So the episode today, this is episode 6. Okay. Welcome to the Get Back Show, by the way.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
We're glad to have you. So what we always do, we always ask a new guest. There's 2 questions that we always ask a new guest. And that is, the first one being, what does entrepreneurship mean to you? Mm-hmm. And then the second one is, when was your free fall moment? And free fall moment is defined by, like Jedi was talking about, how they kept coming to Deep Ellum. And he saw the space and he was like, I really want to do this. After being on the Jagger show. So he kind of, we didn't even get in all the way into your free fall moment, but we'll come back to that. Stick a pin in that. So that being the moment you decided that, hey, I'm going to go beyond the edge. Mm-hmm. So those 2 questions. Okay.
So as far as entrepreneurship, I think it's just finding what you love and what you're passionate about and actually making a sustainable business out of it. So there's a difference between going after what you want, but then also actually making it a business and being able to profit and sustain from it. And like, fortunately, I've been able to do that for the last 5 years, and I feel really grateful getting to work as an independent business owner for the last 5 years. Just that's pretty much it.
And what about your free fall moment? What made you decide? What moment happened in your life or leading up to when you said, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. This is my dream. This is what I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna step out on faith and I'm gonna do this.
Okay. Well, I've known I wanted to be in the entertainment industry since I was a kid. Okay. I didn't know to what capacity it was gonna be for a long time, and I was like a serial jobber employee for like a long time, but it helped a lot. I didn't realize like me trying out so many different styles of jobs and different internships and like working within radio and working at a music label would, give me the skill set that, has prepared me to be the boss that I am today. Mm-hmm. But I think my true moment was when I was given a director position at the age of 24. Wow. Which was working for this organization called Raw Dallas. And
I remember.
Yeah, so I was the director for Raw Dallas for 3 years, starting in 2013. And through that platform, I got to produce over 20 shows and work with over 1,000 artists in the local scene. But really that moment when I trained in LA for a week at the headquarters, that's where Raw is based out of. But I was running Dallas, and when I first stepped foot back in Dallas and knew like the tasks at hand, and I was like, okay, like are you either just gonna go full force with this or I'm gonna fail? And like I didn't want to give up, and I wanted to be successful, and that was the moment I knew in my head I was fully gonna commit to this. Okay. And it's been quite the journey since.
I bet.
Yeah.
So is Raw Dallas still? Is it still going?
Yeah, I stepped away from being the director mid 2016. Just differences in management and how things were going, but they're still going. They do them less often, and not quite as big as they were when I was running it. But they're still running. It's still a quality platform for new and independent up and coming artists to kind of make their way and prove themselves and get out there.
Gotcha. So you said something earlier about as far as not just going for what you want, but making it a sustainable business, which I think is a great segue just on that point to get into what we were talking about today. So today's episode is called, I'm going to give you the hood version, and I'm going to give you the professional version. So today's episode is called New Business, Who Dis? And
Love
then the rest of it is marketing, branding, and advertising, and why you should know the difference, or why it's important for you to know the difference. And the whole Who Dis thing is just basically that's what it is. I feel like you've got a new business, and you have to find a way to introduce yourself to the marketplace,
Right.
In order for you to be effective and have a sustainable business and have some penetration in the marketplace.
Right.
What would you say? What do you? And you said you specialize mostly in what?
PR and brand management
Okay, in which industry?
in the entertainment industry. I mostly work in music, but I dip and dabble in art and fashion as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Let me get your thoughts on that. What do you think about? And I know I asked you off camera just about defining the difference between the three. Can you tell me? Can you give the audience a little bit of information about just what you told me off camera?
Right. Between PR, brand management, and marketing?
Yes.
Okay. So as I was mentioning, marketing is essentially the umbrella in which all of these different forms take under. Everything as like PR and branding and advertising all fall under some form of marketing. So as I always say, marketing is the umbrella. Now, PR specifically, it stands for public relations. And there's different techniques that go into the aspect of public relations, but the main thing is media relations. So I'm kind of the conduit and the liaison between the entertainer or the artist and the media. And I also explain this like with public relations, you have to kind of consider who all your publics are. So whether it's your fan base, whether it's your team, whether it's potential sponsors or the media, they all serve as a different form of public. So I am the person who kind of creates different campaigns or techniques and strategies to be able to reach the audiences that you want to with the correct messages, and making sure that you get out what you want. Now, as far as branding goes, me specifically, I mean, everyone kind of has their own definition, but it's everything from like the visuals and the wording and just how you put yourself out there, and essentially how you make money off of your entity, you as an entity.
Yes.
So I always try to get artists to understand that, now you're not just an artist, you're also a business. So, and your business is your brand. So, building, I specialize in doing a lot of brand partnerships. So that's a really big thing right now is influencer marketing and just positioning artists to be able to do partnerships with, drink companies or clothing companies and things like that, just to find different forms of revenue in different places, and just like strategically positioning them in good situations for more exposure or just to get their brand out there.
You think so it is influencer marketing is really hot and heavy right now.
Yes, it is.
And do you think that, because of social media, right? People have more reach than ever.
Right.
Their impressions impressions reach, all those things are really high, right? What is that going to be a continued trend? Can you see that being a continued trend just because the digital age is continually progressing, or do you think we'll hit because video right now is killing. It's either long form or short form video. So you think that's going to be a continued trend moving forward? I read somewhere the other day that by next year, they said, was it 2020? It's either 2019 or 2020 that the majority of marketing is going to be 80% video.
Okay.
You see that being so?
Yeah, that's believable. I mean, that's really how we intake our information now. Like, we've just become such a visual society, and we want everything kind of easily force-fed. And with a video, it's just right in front of you just to watch instead of you trying to look up the information and read it and find out video.
Definitely somebody will watch a video first,
exactly.
Right?
Like people, I mean, there's a reason that the movie industry is so prevalent for this long. People love visuals, So I believe it.
Yeah. So speaking to one of the things you talked about, when speaking of visuals, have you had to put together a marketing team?
Oh,
Or-
definitely. So within my team specifically, I have like a group of photographers, videographers, people who run specifically social media campaigns. And I try to like play on everyone's strengths on my team. But that all encompasses branding, you know, everything from photos to videos to graphics to fonts and logos and things like that.
How would you convey those things, like the importance of? So your visuals play into your messaging, or do you develop the messaging strategy and that kind of shapes how your visuals you will go? So I'm kind of all over the place right now because I'm listening to you talk and I'm trying to just find my way into. I think it's something I want to lead us into, and I'm just trying to listen.
I got you. So the first thing I do when I work with like any new client or artist is, again, just find out like how they envision themselves. A big thing in PR specifically is your story. So, you know, people connect to you through your story.
Yes.
So just finding what your story is, and then what your look is, and like the words that you want people to think of when they see you, and when they see your brand, like whether it's, you know, fresh, cool, polished, sharp, you know, those type of words, and then kind of playing off of like what your strengths are and what makes you unique, and then just creating a whole. I always start with like a mood board.
Okay.
One of the biggest tools I use is Pinterest. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I have a couple Pinterest accounts.
Yes, I love Pinterest. I always start with like a mood board, and I'll take like things like photo shoot inspiration, just like different ideas that we could utilize and continue to like look back towards, but just like creating, again, like the full decisive like look and messaging and wording, and then creating a campaign around that.
Okay. So the mood board is driving your content?
It's just like an inspiration, like it's just a place where I can keep constantly going back for inspiration. And then it also helps me make sure that I'm on the same page with my client, because sometimes they see themselves in one way and I may see them another way. And then there's also the way that the public sees them. So you kind of have to go 3 different angles and figure out what's going to work best, what's going to catch on.
So dealing with an artist, so let's say an artist, a small business, artists, they're entrepreneurs themselves.
Right.
What is one of the most important things you feel like when you have that conversation with them about moving forward? You made a comment during the Coastline Live experience. God, I wish I could remember that verbatim, about when somebody comes to talk to you about being serious. Some of it is coming back to me right now.
Okay.
But just when you're sitting down with an artist and talking about moving forward, and you're talking about marketing and advertising, what are some of the things that you feel like are the most important things that you need to convey to them before you guys, when you get into it?
Okay. Well, I mean, just with any new business, you're always going to have to create a budget. You know, a lot of artists just assume that all this stuff happens magically out of thin air, like for free. And so I kind of always make them know, like, just as much as you invest in your music and your craft, you're going to have to invest just as much time and money as well into the branding and marketing and PR aspect of it. So just making sure that they're aware of what they're getting themselves into. And I just have a really good way of like sizing someone up and finding out if they're really serious or not, you know. I don't like to crush people's hopes and dreams, but I also like to take them out of that state of delusion that a lot of artists can be in sometimes, where they're just, you know, like,
I'm about to pop.
Exactly. Like, I let them know exactly where they're at and what the steps are that they're going to need to take. But sometimes people think that they're further than they are. Some people think that they're more behind than they are. So kind of just giving them more of a realistic overview of where exactly they are, and then whatever their goals is. Everyone has different goals, how exactly what the steps are going to be to take that, but also that it's not going to happen overnight.
No, patience, right?
Yeah, exactly. So patience is key. Like, you know, I'm fortunate enough to like be able in a place to like be able to speed someone's momentum up a little bit further, but it usually takes 6 months to a year to really get that true traction and momentum that like most artists are looking for. And that's like of steady, consistent, hard work. Not like if you take gaps, like losing momentum is very real in the entertainment industry. So some people they'll like they'll have a great project, go out there and get all this attention, and then they take a break for 6 months and everyone's like, who are you?
They forget about you.
Exactly. So it's something you have to stay very consistent, and when you like hit that moment of momentum, like keep that going. Like find something that I do in the branding and PR side is like creating catalysts. So finding and creating big moments to be able to work off of, and then keeping that energy going.
Wow. So let me ask you this: you're an entrepreneur yourself. You're in business yourself for yourself. So you talked about patience with the artist. Was that something that you went into doing what you're doing right now? You already had that understanding, or has it been something that you've continually chiseled away at, and you're learning to exercise more and more patience?
It's something that I'm still building and growing on constantly and working on daily. I'm going to tell you, when I started the raw position, I had zero patience. That was probably one of the worst things like that I really had to work on initially, especially in this industry. But I think especially when you work in production and like I worked with a show that featured 50 to 60 artists in one night in all different platforms, and I wanted every single artist to feel like it was their show.
Gotcha.
But in turn, that required a lot of patience, a lot of dealing with like excuses and problems and things like that. And I think that 3 years for me was like a boot camp in dealing with artists and dealing and really learning patience. And I think right now, like I've just dealt with so much and been through so many situations that nothing surprises me, and my patience right now, I would say I'm at a good level of patience. I have way more patience than most people and I ever had before. But I used to be like, I had no patience at all.
Like you weren't having it.
No. And I still don't have it now with people like playing with my time. You know what I mean? Like, I make it very clear. And I think too, now I've built a rapport within the city where people are like, don't waste Sarah's time.
That's one of the most important things that I've learned. Not that I didn't know it, but the more and more I've started to do things and get into things, that's been one of the most important things, is about learning. You want to respect people's time. Mm-hmm. You want to respect their time because you want people to respect your time. And that was like when that bag of bricks falls on you, because then you start to kind of take inventory and be like, oh, wow, no wonder they don't rock with me right now. Like you have to be real. And I've been doing some things lately just called mirror moments. Mm-hmm. Or just takeaways from the day. But really just reflecting on, I have 5 things that I try to live by: to be thankful, to be gracious, to be mindful of my words, to learn something new, and to love on someone every day. Those are my 5 rules of life every day.
I love that.
Thank you.
I want to adopt that if I can.
Please do.
Okay.
Please do. I put it out there because those are 5 things that we really... if you begin to do those 5 things every day, it will change. Mm-hmm. It will begin to shape your perspective. You have a different perspective on life, but also it moves you into a place of self-awareness. And when you're self-aware, it's hard not to be aware of everybody else.
Exactly. That's where it starts.
Because you're aware of how your choices and your actions are affecting the people around you. Yeah. So that's really what, like, that hangs up on my desk. Right. Because sometimes at work, being mindful of your words is the hardest thing to do.
For sure. And you can only be accountable for yourself. You can't be accountable for what anybody else is, but you can control what you do and how people perceive you. So.
Definitely. Personal accountability is the key. Let's keep talking about some things. One of the big things that I've seen just from the marketing standpoint. So I made the transition from IT to marketing in the last 4 or 5 months. So my whole reason for doing it is that I'm a writer by nature. Mm-hmm. And I love, shout out to KG with Cosign, because we have this is the connection that we have. KG says that he loves I always ask him, and I think one of my guest co-hosts asked him about, it's always the story, why the story.
Yeah.
And KG said something that resonated with me in that interview, and he said that the brands that have longevity and the biggest brands and the ones that people know are the greatest storytellers. Mm. And when he said that, I'd already started making the transition, but it really just kind of hit home with me as to why I wanted to make the transition. I like telling people's story. That's why I like asking questions. My whole thing this year is that I wanted to listen more. I wanted to be able to listen, because I feel like in order to get the people's story right, you have to ask the right questions. Mm-hmm. And you can't get to the right questions if you don't listen to them talking. Sometimes not even just talking, body language, the whole nine, all of that good stuff. So that was one of the things, and that's why I wanted to be a great storyteller. I wanted to take that and build people up and things like that. You want to come sit down with us? Come on, man. We informal today. You can just walk on camera.
Yeah, I actually have that same passion and love, and that's why I've gotten into PR and production. Like on the PR side, getting to tell people's story through the media and helping them reach a larger audience, so more people know more about where they come from and like why their music is the way they are, and just the monumental moments like within their career that like are worth highlighting. And then on the production side, getting to work with artists and Raw was really cool because I worked with so many different art forms, including like dance and like hair and makeup and things like that. And just to see people's like imaginations come to life, and then them have that big platform with the stage and the lights and the visuals and things like that. And like to see what was incepted, but they never really had that place to be able to like let it out. That was probably the best and rewarding thing about doing those shows.
Are you a very organized person?
No, it's weird. I have like a weird form of organization. Like it works for me. You know what I mean? That's another thing that I'm working with. But luckily I have like assistants that help me in that realm, because that's probably more of my weak realm. I always say I'm the closer. I'm the idea girl. I'm the closer. I'm the one with the relationships. I'm the one that makes things happen. So but yeah, I mean, I'm organized in the sense that I'm able to accomplish things that I need to. Like if I, but yeah, I'm more of like a fly by
the seat of your pants.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just handle it as it comes, because I do so much. So
yeah, you do. Well, the reason I asked that is because you deal with a lot of creatives. Mm-hmm. I know creatives. They can have a linear thought process at times, but also being a creative myself, I write, I perform, all of those things. I can be all over the place at times.
Yeah.
I've done it during the show today. So
yeah, that's what you just in this industry. You just learn to like go with what comes, and I think too, it's hard to almost stay organized too when your artists are all over the place as well too.
Yeah, creativity is beautiful chaos at times.
Yes. That's a perfect way to put it.
Maybe running in and out of events, hopping on podcasts,
Yeah, I'm glad you can make it. Jody.
Appreciate it.
Not from Baby Boy.
That's where it came from.
It did?
Yeah. I'm the youngest out of 4, and I was chocolate, and I love my mama.
We talked about how Jedi got his name today. Sarah, you got a nickname?
No? I wish.
We're gonna have to come up with a nickname for you.
Sometimes they call me the Keys, though.
You got the keys to the streets?
They call me the Keys. That's like probably the closest thing to a nickname that I.
The Keys.
Yeah.
Okay, I can dig that. Okay, so let's say why they call you the Keys. Why do they call you the Keys? Not for obvious reasons.
I don't want to say like I'm addicted to power or anything, but I realized that there was power in relationships early on, for sure. And so I made it a point to like what I'm really big about, like if I hit a roadblock or a wall, like I'm just really stubborn and I'll do anything to get through it. I don't like hearing no. I always feel like where there's a will, there's a way. And so I think that type of attitude and just being really strategic about how I network and how I meet people, I realized, okay, these are the type of people who are making the decisions, and everybody's trying to get to them. But, these certain type of people think a certain way and only allow certain people in their circle.
Yes.
And so I'm all about mutually beneficial relationships. So I'm just like, okay, how can I provide any form of value to these people? And to me, I was just like, okay, I'm going to become a bridge of some sort between them two. And by, building the relationships with like different promoters, different venue owners, just producers and editors at all the different magazines and things like that. And, marketing VPs at brands and things like that. I just realized that's where all the consumers are wanting to get to, but they think that those people are untouchable. And I made them my network, and so in turn, that's where the keys situation came from.
Oh yeah, she got the keys to the streets though.
That's what it's
Dallas
about.
needs to give me the keys to the streets. Give me them keys.
They should. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something about that. Are you from Dallas?
Basically, I've been here for 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, I was born in the Philippines though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I love my city. I do. Well, one thing I told my son, sometimes you got to keep loving Dallas even when Dallas doesn't love you. They'll come around eventually.
True.
You just have to have patience. There's that word again.
Hey.
You have to have patience. It's a relationship that requires patience. Well, we got a guest. I know you guys saw him walk on. Jody. He told us how he got his name.
Jody.
Jody runs Elevated Relief. I'm always missing the factory.
Yeah, it's Elevated Relief is the brand, then ER Factory.
ER Factory, yes. Jody runs ER Factory. This is his joint. What, 3 floors or 2 floors?
2 floors, and I'm liaison for the 2nd and 18th, so I handle the events.
Okay. And Jody was on a couple weeks ago. It's been a couple weeks. He was on a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the hustle don't stop. And we're talking about having multiple streams of revenue. But Jody also, I asked him to come and join us because he does a great deal with marketing and working with design and content and stuff like that. So that's why I asked him to come on, because I knew he could speak to some of the stuff we wanted to talk about. So let me ask you, what do you think about how essential is marketing to an entrepreneur?
Marketing is very essential. You have to market yourself. That's how people find out about you. But of course, before everything else, you got to have something to market. So, but it is very important. But to me, your product markets itself if you have a good product also. So if you work on your product well enough, you already started your marketing.
Okay. I'm going to throw you a curveball because I asked her and you weren't in here, so don't say nothing. No, I'm just joking. So is there a difference between marketing, branding, and advertising?
Is there a difference? Yes, I would say marketing is getting out to the people. Branding is what it actually is, what you're gonna stand by. Because like when I have somebody market me, they can market for me, but they will never really be able to stand for what my brand is because they won't know like that genuine love or for whatever I started my brand with. And advertising, I think advertising and marketing kind of go hand in hand. But as far as marketing, branding is a totally different thing because that's something you're going to stick by regardless of who's marketing. Because you can go through different markets and like different marketing agencies, and they might have their different type of spin or feel to it, but your brand should remain the same. So
okay. Okay. That's good information. I like to get different, so I asked for different viewpoints because when I researched it, marketing is the world, and then branding is like a planet inside of that world. So like it was saying that branding is part of it. It's you can have a brand in it. Marketing is I think you used the term umbrella. Did you use the term umbrella? Like branding is marketing is the umbrella, and then you have all the little umbrellas under that. And so because I think before I got into really just researching it, I felt like that. Like it almost feels like it's two different worlds, but the way we talk about it now. But I would consider I'm about to let my little space nerd out of me. I would consider branding being one of the moons for marketing. So it really and then you get into advertising, which is probably a smaller, not a smaller aspect, but it's that's the thing that we see all the time. There's some boss ads out there right now. One of the things we're dealing with on my daytime is just advertising and getting out to the right market and the right audience. What about messaging? Now she could probably be the spin queen too when it comes to messaging. What do you think about messaging as far as the messaging, your communication strategy, whether internal or external?
Messaging as far as what, in what aspect?
Will you help me define this a little bit?
Well, actually, I was curious because messaging's pretty broad.
Okay.
Messaging can go as far as what we do with the building the story.
Okay.
And just even
learn me today. That's why I brought you guys in. Learn me today.
Well, I don't know. When you think of messaging, I'm going back to because I look at branding as a whole different thing. I literally think of it as a brand that's like your mark. That's what you are. That doesn't change.
Like logo and stuff like that.
Logo, but like your brand. Like when you think of certain brands, like you'll think of dependability. You'll think of other things that go with that brand that stretches far beyond the logo, which is a part of your message. Like, what are you giving out to these people? Because when I see your brand, your message is in there. Like, whether no matter what it is.
And when she talked about visuals, you want to chime in on it? You have anything to add to that?
Yeah, also slogans. People have different slogans that kind of goes into the messaging aspect of it, and even I always try to pinpoint someone's voice as well too. That's a really big aspect. Like I mentioned, okay, is your brand, is it cool? Is it trendy? Is it sharp? But that also goes into the messaging of how you, post on on social media and with your visuals and stuff like that. Just what's your voice as well too. And I think that falls in line with the messaging.
Okay. What for both of you? Mm-hmm. We talked about one of the important conversations that you have with artists when you sit down with them. Mm-hmm. And Jody, you have people from all different aspects, the industries come in, mm-hmm. right, and talk to you. So I'm gonna ask this again, so we can kind of, because he's in the room now, and we can kind of have this conversation a little bit as we begin. We're getting into the downside of the show. But where do they begin? Where would somebody begin? When it comes to marketing, maybe it was the budget you talked about at OTR last year. Mm-hmm. But we talked as far as getting into how you're going to market, and what you're going to do. Where does somebody begin? So I have the radio show. I have a strategy, but let's just say I don't have a strategy. I know my strategy is not bulletproof. I tell people all the time, take a look at it, and please, if you give it back to me full of red marks, I'm cool with that too, because I want to make sure I have I'm airtight.
Yeah.
So looking at it from that standpoint, going into it, what is the conversation as far as not just about, just how do we begin to shape this? Because I think a lot of people, there's so much information out there. Mm-hmm. Let's just get to that point, and then I can go from there. There is so much information out there about how to market your business, how to market as an entrepreneur. This person does it this way. Everybody's going to have their little niche. But what would you do to help educate somebody that's saying, hey, Sarah or Jody, I have this idea for this business. I got or I have the product ready to go. I want to go to market now. How do I make space for myself in the marketplace?
Yeah. For me, if I can start.
Ladies first. We're gentlemen on this show. Chivalry ain't
awesome. Dead. And this kind of holds true to almost anything that I do, but I always start with what your specific end goal is and then work backwards, and that's what I feel like a lot of people, when I first meet them, they don't even have a clear idea of what they want. They just say things like, oh, I want to be famous, and that's what they think, that in their head, that's what I do. And I'm just no, what's your specific goal? And whether it's a business, are you trying to reach a certain amount in sales? Are you trying to grow your followers? Are you trying to be on tour with a big artist by next year? Like, what are those specific goals? And then just kind of dissecting it and moving backwards and realizing, okay, what are the steps to get to that specific end goal? And just really knowing like what you want and like how you want to put it out there. And that's where you kind of build the core of a marketing strategy.
So basically saying like how your marketing strategy aligns with your business goals. Mm-hmm. Okay.
For sure.
Like it's starting with strategy. I feel like you said you already have the product, so somebody's coming in with the product already done. They're just ready to market it.
Either, you could do it that way, or whichever way you want to walk into the scenario.
I mean, yeah, because like if your product's done, if we still talking marketing strategy and you ain't ready to go to market yet, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You should already know what you're going for at this point if you come to me. My thing is, it starts with visually. Even if you have a podcast where it's just listening, you have to visually get it out there. So just start creating content, taking pictures, doing what you love to do, and letting people see it. That's where it always starts, visually. 80% of our communication will be visual in like another year. Like people like that's all.
Did you hear me say that?
He did say that. Like,
he did.
I just said that
conversation
before you came in here.
Oh, for real?
That's I'm just messing with you. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, when you tell somebody that's not a marketer about creating content, flags are going to go up, and only because it's the whole. I want to look at it from this standpoint. I do, we're in it, right? Mm-hmm. We're all in it. So I know what you guys are talking about, but I want to ask from a perspective of somebody that's saying, I've done a little bit of research, but that's why I'm coming to you. There's so much information out there. What am I doing with creating content? So what am I doing with curating content? Mm-hmm. What is it? Just taking pictures?
No,
or what is it?
It's taking pictures of your product, why your product works, your target demographic for your product. Like, it's all centered around those things that she said before. So you're going to dissect your end goal. What do you want? Who are you targeting? Who are we trying to get this to? And then from there, we're going to take pictures of that type of style and then kind of get it out of your regular style. Because, like, a lifestyle shoot, like, we were doing a lot of lifestyle shoot with different, like, lawyers and stuff like that. And they might seem weird, but, like, they're trying to seem more approachable. Like, you need to take it out of the element, and it makes you pay more attention to whatever product you're putting there. So it's just like finding different ways to visually put it out. That's what it's about. Like, finding a way people interact. How do they feel after they use your product? Like, that's what it's all about. And then timing those times when you put out the post, putting it out consistently. So it's about, you got to consistently put out content so people know what you're doing and staying updated with you. Like, oh man, it's cool. He's still doing what he loves to do, or this product is still working for people. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
So we're saying are the business goals driving the market strategy, or you want to align your marketing strategy with your business goals?
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you need to know what your goals are as a business, and then you want to align your marketing strategy with that. So now our content. So we're curating content based on what our end goal is.
Yeah.
And I think demographic.
Yeah, he said knowing your consumer as well too, because a lot of people, they tend to think like, they'll just think like, okay, this is what I like, and they'll have a narrow-minded perspective on it, but they have to put themselves in the position, like, lifestyle-wise of what their consumer is doing and how they, like, what different avenues are they receiving their information, and think that way, to reach them more effectively.
My mom always said, don't spread your seeds on cement. They ain't gonna grow nowhere. You gotta make sure you're targeting the right place. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you're planting on fertile ground, right?
Because I mean, you can just broadly throw it out there on some crack semen. There might be a little bit of soil in that semen, but you want to go to where people are going to be taking in it, and which is your demographic. Got you.
So we're talking about. I mean, really, man. There's so much information. Now that they're in the room, I can start asking all the questions and let them to really talk. Mm-hmm. That's what I like to be the facilitator. Not saying that I enjoyed our interview. That time we had, I could have kept going. I was about to start digging. I didn't have time to get on here and just start digging. And just to get more information, I could talk about that all day. I know we got to get ready to wrap up here in a few minutes. I would love to, if you guys want to hear more of this, just talking about marketing, talking about content, curating content, strategy, communication, messaging, all of those good things, I would love to bring you back, and then let's have another conversation about it and revisit where we can really dig into it, start with a high-level overview, and then do a deep dive. Because I think that it's some great information that both of you, and we can get to get a designer in here and actually get somebody that does content curating and writing, and kind of build a marketing team in here, and then let y'all have at it and just teach some people some things. And if you want to hear more of that, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us on the Get Back Show at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at the Get Back Show. You can find us on Instagram at the Get Back Show, Twitter at the Get Back Show. You get my point? You can find us at the Get Back Show. We don't just stream on Facebook or YouTube. We also have podcasts. The podcast will be going up. It'll be a little bit later this week. We aim for Wednesdays, but it'll be a little bit later this next coming week. We'll have a podcast up for you, and we listen. I told you guys, some people said, hey, man, that 2 hours is a lot to listen to at one time, and I know that's a lot to digest. It's like eating a full 7-course meal, so I understand it. So I got with Jedi, and we talked about breaking the show down into 45-minute segments so you guys can digest the show and get all the information you can out of it. There's some nutrients in there. Let's talk about being healthy right now. There's some nutrients in there that you really need to help grow your business so you don't continue throwing your seed on cement. I want to thank Sarah Badran for coming out. There is so much more that I want to ask you, and
I'd be happy to come back. I really enjoy this conversation, and I'm very big into education because I think a lot of people misunderstand what I do and just are so confused and running in circles, and I'm very passionate about especially the city and the artists in the city, like getting the proper knowledge to be able to, go about things the right way. Okay.
Would you mind giving out your information in case anybody wants to follow you and keep up with your journey?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook under my name. It's just Sarah with an H, Badran, and then my company is called Creative Currency. And I also work for Premier Live, which throws concerts in the city. So we're always bringing really awesome R&B and hip hop acts and all kinds of things. We have a lot of really cool things cooking up. And that's through Premier Live.
Okay.
So I'm gonna need some artists for my event venue. We got events.
I got you. I got all the artists.
Bad. Well, you can sit on the couch. I'm Jody MacArthur J on Instagram, and Elevated Relief is where you can find us on everything. It's just Elevated Relief.
Okay.
The ER Factory website will be up at the end of the month. So yeah.
Got you. I'm trying to get Jody to be my co-host. Y'all hit him up. Tell him he need to stay on the Get Back Show. Quit tripping.
I was busy. We got an Insta meet going on the 8th floor. Just letting y'all know. A lot of different creatives, photographers, videographers. That's what we do.
On the 8th floor?
Yeah, right now. That's why I've been going in and out.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff going on. That's why I told him whenever you could come in the room, man. I'd love to have you in here. It's always good. He brings a great energy and a wealth of knowledge, and his story. Oh man, oh boy. Shout out to Jedi Jansen, our engineer, and he sometimes co-pilots when he needs. Well, he's always co-piloting because he's engineering.
I'm here when you need me, bro.
We're gonna have to continue your conversation about how you got into the business and your free fall moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Part 2 coming soon. Just stay tuned.
Yeah, we're gonna plan that one this time though.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Just
okay.
Let me know.
And anybody got any events coming up?
July 7th, we're just gonna do a relaunch of this beautiful ER Factory. I know Dallas on Air, they're expanding and beginning some more podcast studios in here because this is what it's about. We're listening, we're spreading knowledge. That's what people are liking. Just a lot of these other businesses that we got going in here. We just want to put some more light on that and put some more. I revamped this the studio, the way it looks like. It'd be dope. So July 7th, just come out. Bloggers, photographers, videographers. We'll have the whole production floor running at full speed. You can get video. All be free. We'll have 3 chefs doing live cooking performances too.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be here. I'm a foodie. That's a Saturday, by the way.
Yeah.
What about you, Sarah?
So July 13th, I have a competition called The One, and it's for rappers and singers. It's going to be at the House of Blues. And then I have Royce the 5'9" coming July 29th.
Oh yeah, we can talk.
And he's going to be at Trees Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. They need to
All
be
right.
at Ear Factory.
Jedi, you got anything else coming up for you? What's going on with you? What's on your calendar, buddy?
Man, you're looking at it. We're doing working with Cheaters. We did a bus last night, so we got back into the groove of that. Kicked off the new season. So I'll be doing that a lot for the next probably 6-7 months. That's how long we usually shoot for. So
Okay.
yeah.
It was
All right.
live and in action, like live and in action.
It was. Hey, we busted them at the Lil Boosie concert right down over by Southside Lamar, man, and it was crazy. So they started fighting, right? And I look over, and a lot of times when they start fighting and DPD shows up, they're going to jail. They don't care if it's a TV show or not. They'll take them to jail. Not last night, bro. They had their phones out. they were following us with their phones, and I was like, "Whoa!" It was crazy. It was crazy.
I guess they knew. They said as long as nothing's really gonna jump off.
Well, no, because one of the dudes got slammed up into some random person's nice Mercedes and broke off the driver's side window or mirror.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we'll get
video. You need to send me that.
Yeah, we're gonna get that
You
update.
have to stay tuned. It'll be on Cheaters. I think it will be out they usually go out really quick. Like it should be out in a couple of months. Okay. But yeah, just tune in to the Lil Boosie concert. It went crazy. It was so crazy.
See what y'all get when you tune in. You get the little behind the scene tidbits of Cheaters from Jedi over there. Once again, man, this has been JP Green with the Get Back Show. I want to thank you for tuning in. Thank you to D. Clark. Go to dclarkrealty.com. Arthur Wimberly. You can find him at awimberly.supremelending.com. Also, Delissa Rose. You can go to delissarose.com. The reason I'm telling you about those realtors and loan officers, jettimmons.com. The reason I'm telling you about that is because if you're a millennial, hey, now's a good time to buy a house. It's a great time for you to get in there and buy a house. If you're a Gen Xer like myself, you're right on time if you haven't purchased your first home. The average age of first-time home buyers is 46. So you're right on time right now. Don't think that you're too late, and don't be down on yourself. Get with somebody that can help you fix your credit. If you're having credit issues, get with somebody that can help you build a budget and help and get yourself in a place of accountability, personal accountability, but also around people who are homeowners, because you start making money from your home the day you pick up those keys. It opens up doors for you that nothing else that we look for. It will even help you as an entrepreneur owning a home. So the reason I'm telling you all of those things is I'm on that journey myself. And we got to get back to leaving stuff to our kids, man. You can't leave them that job. You can leave them debt, but who wants that? And the home it's not bad debt, having a home. Also, again, you can find us on the Get Back Show. Anywhere you type in the Get Back Show, whatever social media platform, you can find us there. We're there waiting for you each and every other Thursday, the first and third Thursday. I'll be hosting Rhythm and Rhymes with JCF Productions. My close friend and best friend, my A1 since day one, DJ Tates, will be on the 1 and 2s. And we have budding spoken word. If you're a seasoned spoken word artist, R&B artist, you just want to come and work out and hone your craft, we got a nice crowd there, and they're very interactive, and they show a lot of love. They will follow you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you ask them to go. Those guys, most of the majority of the people that have come there that I've met are all for supporting local artists, and that's what we're for. And I'll challenge all of you to support your local artists, and not just your local artists. If you have a friend or a family member that has their own business, support them. You don't know how good it feels to have somebody that you see on a daily basis or that you've grown up with, your family, to hit you up and say, hey, man, and ask about your product or to purchase your product, when you see that come across, whether you got a Shopify online store or whatever, when you see that purchase pop up in your email and you recognize that email address or that name, or they just hit you up on Facebook or whatever and tell you that they bought something, you don't know, I can't explain to you in words how that validates every late night, the struggles that you've been through when you see people that believe in you and they believe in the vision that you have for your company and for your life. I was going to get into some stuff about Juneteenth, but I'll just leave it at this. As my boy E-Dub would say, Eric Ellis would say, go do your Googles. But man, really learn what Juneteenth is about. And you'll hear a lot of things going on. People will have negative comments. I don't know why we've accepted negativity just to be our way of life in the world today. But let's start researching. Go ask some of your elders. That's what I would challenge you to do. If your grandparents are still alive, go ask your grandparents, your great uncles, great aunts. Go talk to them about it. And let's start passing history back down. Shout out to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to all of you. We appreciate you. We thank you for the men who raised their own and even who stood in the gap and raised somebody else's. Thank you very much. We appreciate your selflessness. We appreciate you being a stand-up person and the choices that you made to be part of somebody's life and to be transparent and share your life and to put productive citizens out into the world. Shout out to both the men, my father, the man who made me, Marvin Crenshaw, and the man who raised me, Joe Green. My pops, shout out to you. Man, it's been a phenomenal show. I thank you all for sticking and staying with me. Jedi, as always, I appreciate you. And we'll catch you on the next go-round. As always, sending all my love out to you and my prayers up for you. Peace.